We have Roper Technologies. Okay. Looks like a pretty... Whoa, this is a pretty high-profile company. Sky-high stock price, $40 billion valuation, and yet, somehow, I've never heard of these guys. Roper Technologies. How have I never heard of these guys before? Large valuation, sky-high stock price, killer earnings, killer revenues and earnings. What do these guys do? Designs and develops software and engineered products and solutions worldwide. Offers management, campus solutions, laboratory information management, enterprise management. So a lot of software-based services. How have I never heard of these guys before? Roper Technologies, huh? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. And they pay a dividend. Holy crap. Like I already have a feeling that I'm gonna give these guys a buy rating, but I also got half a mind to literally buy them in real life because I am in love with everything I'm seeing so far. But I still have 3 minutes and 22 seconds left to do research. So let's take full advantage of that time. So look at this month's chart. Even though I've liked everything I've seen so far, they've been on a bit of a slumping downtrend recently. And if I'm not mistaken, I saw an article here about how they missed earnings recently. That might explain what this is about. And that was about 20 days ago. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they beat the earnings estimate. Oh, I see the problem. They surpassed estimates, but the sales missed. Okay. Yeah, earnings. There's more to look in at earnings reports than just literally the earnings for the quarter. You can also look at revenues, which is which is pretty sure what I believe they're talking about with sales. You can also look at forward guidance they give. It could be awesome now, but they could think it's good, but they could think it's gonna be terrible in the future. That can make it go down. For certain companies, there are other metrics that can reinforce their success or their not success. One that comes to mind is something like Facebook or Twitter, where their earnings aren't just important; it's also the number of users they have. For example, another company like that would be Netflix. Like if you track a company like Netflix or a company like Disney with their Disney Plus, you're gonna hear people talk a lot about um, subscriber growth. Those two words, and that's literally what it is: a subscriber growth. Uh, so those are kind of extra things that are looked at for certain kinds of companies. Usually, technology companies. Like, in fact, once we read through this news article, I wouldn't be surprised if there's talk in here uh, about their customers and how that has grown over a while, like their subscribers to whatever kind of service that they offer. So let's take a quick look through here. Reported mixed earnings. Yeah, I would say so. They surpassed estimates by 2%, but sales lagged the same by 1%. That's not a big lag though. I don't think that's worthwhile for the stock to drop. Company adjusted earnings were $3.56 per share. Beat the estimate slightly. Year-over-year basis, earnings expanded. So earnings expanded. Sales lagged. Company's adjusted earnings were lower than a year ago. Bottom line surpassed the estimate. Roper's top line. Reported quarter. Roper's net revenues. Oops, notably adjusted. Revenues, year-over-year basis, net revenue generated. They're different sections, I guess. Cost of sales. Cost of sales, is that their expenses, I guess? I'm actually not familiar with that term. Gross profit. Yeah, administrative expenses increased by, I think I saw 18%. That's a lot. That's a lot. Hmm. You know what? I'm kind of just because everything else I saw looked fantastic, I'm willing to overlook um that drop from those earnings and what people see in them. In fact, I would say that makes this in a prime position for a buy because the reaction to those earnings seems completely overblown and out of sync with reality. Again, just my opinion, but that's what I'm seeing there. And as someone who, when they trade in actual life, really enjoys using the strategy of finding things that have dropped and making a determination of whether or not that drop was justified, and then obviously buying in if they think it wasn't, and that they think, and by they I mean me, I think it'll go back up. Obviously, I feel like I'm pretty adept at, again, not to toot my own horn, again, insert meme of Obama giving medal to Obama, but I feel like I'm pretty adept at identifying those kind of unjustified drops and companies that can recover from that. And this seems like a prime example of that. Prime example, textbook example. So, Roper, I believe it was, ROP, your textbook buy. Your textbook, you're not just buy, you are textbook buy on the dip. Buy on the dip. If I had looked at this maybe a month ago, probably would have said it was more of a hold prior to those earnings. But right now, because of that dip, this is a buy. And again, not just a buy on the dip.